Sat Shri Akal Dadi Ki Haal hai? I hope you're doing really well. So you're probably wondering what you're doing this close to my face today, but I thought I would film a no makeup look for you just because I've been obsessed with it recently. I can't believe there's ever a time that I used to do a full face of makeup every time I went outside. So this has been a really refreshing thing for me. I went from one extreme to the other where I was wearing a full face of makeup to absolutely no makeup when we started working from home, but I think I've found a good middle for me. I will usually do this within, I think, 15 minutes or maybe 10 minutes if I'm being super quick, and it's just been so handy for me with returning back to the office as well. So it's just something quick for me to get ready and feel like I've got myself together. And also this, if you're wondering, is the no heat blowout, so that's why I have a donut in my head. So I have done my skincare off camera just so the video isn't super long, but do let me know if you'd like to see a skincare routine, like a morning and evening one together or maybe separately. But I feel like to make this makeup look really radiant and really fresh, it's really important to have a glowy base, really well moisturized skin, just so you can take on that makeup. Even though we're not going to be using a lot of makeup today, it just makes everything settle and smooth in really nicely if you've got a good base. So my skincare is done and I'm going to move on to the makeup. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to go in with is the Maybelline Dream Radiant Liquid Foundation. I know a lot of people like to go for concealer for their no makeup looks. Personally, I just find foundation a lot less cakey. Concealer can be quite thick and very high coverage, so with the foundation I think this is low to medium coverage, and I feel like you can still see my skin through the makeup. So personally I like to go for foundation to cover any imperfections, discoloration and so on. So I've just taken a very small pump. I've got a little mirror here to help me, but I just want to go into the areas that have any redness and discoloration. So around my nose, I recently had a breakout, so I'm just going to dab a little bit on there. Also discoloration around the corners of my mouth and right under there. So I just like to blend this in with my finger. I feel like it just melts into the skin really nicely. So, and don't worry, I know foundation does cover my freckles and my beauty spots, but sometimes I will draw them back in. I'm not sort of crazy about my freckles. I'm not really happy about them either. I'm just sort of in the middle ground with them. So it just depends on my mood. Sometimes I will draw them back in, sometimes I'll just let them peek through the foundation. But yeah, if you just blend that in, it just brightens everything up, evens out the skin tone. And there is my breakout from earlier. I don't want to go over this too many times because I don't want it to look super cakey, but as long as it's somewhat blended in, like as you can see it's not quite as red as it was earlier, that will do me just fine. So as you can see, that's just sort of toned down the discoloration slightly. It hasn't overly caked it either because this foundation is medium to low coverage. So I feel like it just does a good job of just smoothing things out. So I'm just going to do the same now, but a little bit for my under eyes. Again, you can use concealer for this if you like. I just personally prefer slightly lighter coverage. So I'm just going to take that again, blend it in with my finger. And it just brightens up the eyes ever so slightly, just so I don't look quite as sleep deprived as usual. Okay, next I'm going to go in with a lovely natural blush. I love blush. I feel like it just adds that bit of colour back into your face, especially in the winter time when I feel like my melanin is not popping. I need some colour in my face. Blush does it so nice, and this one is a very lovely tint. This is from Benefit called Benetint, and this is just so nice. It's got like a doe foot applicator. So it is very pigmented though, so only take a little bit. I'll just put it on the apples of my cheeks and a little bit going towards my eyes there, and just blend that in again. And it just gives not only just colour into your face, but a lot of dimension. Like already my cheekbones look so much more defined on this side compared to this side. So I'm just going to do the same on this side, just a couple of dabs, and then also a couple going up towards my eye. And then whatever's left I will dab on my nose as well. Okay, so we have this highlighter, which is my go-to highlighter. This is a cream formula, so you can put this on with your fingers, which I really like because it just melts into the skin really nicely. And also we have the one that I'm using in the mirror right now, the Lou Manizer. This one is really nice too. It's a very similar shade to it, but this is obviously more of a powder, so you do have to apply this with a brush. But I think I'm going to go with the cream one today. Okay, so as I mentioned, it's a cream formula, so I just sort of rub my 2 fingertips onto there. I go in on my Cupid's bow, a little bit on the tip of my nose, and ever so slightly I just dab this. I don't want a very strong line, just a little bit on the bridge of my nose, just to lengthen that. And then also I go in on these areas underneath my eyebrow and my cheekbone. I try not to add too much highlighter, so I will only go once with getting the cream formula onto my fingertips, just because I feel like my skin already looks quite shiny from all the skincare, so I don't want to look, I think there's a very fine line between sweaty and glowy. So I don't want to overdo it, which is why I only go in once for the highlighter, but it just adds that little bit extra to your skin and just looks really healthy. Okay, so I can see with the tint and the foundation a lot of my freckles have disappeared, so I just take this really fine eyebrow pencil and just go back in. So I've got quite a few on my left hand side compared to my right hand side. I don't know, they're so uneven. Here we go. I feel like that one's already quite dark. Just going to gently tap it. I think the one on my nose is definitely the most prominent one because that's been there, I think, the longest. Some of these have only just come out in recent years. But yeah, like I mentioned, I'm not too fussed on them. So it just depends on my mood. Sometimes I will completely cover them with foundation and concealer when I'm wearing a full face of makeup. And sometimes when I'm wearing like a very light layer of makeup like today, I will just draw them back in. Why not? If they're peeking through, just so they don't look like a weird greyishy colour and they look like the colour that they normally are without any foundation. Okay, cool. So I think that looks great. We're going to move on to eyebrows now. Again, I'm just going to use the same pencil. So what I do is just follow the contours of my eyebrows. You can do individual strokes in the direction that your hair grows, but honestly I just do this as quickly as possible. Again, just not keeping a very precise shape, just doing some messy strokes that I will blend out with the spoolie. So again, spoolie on the other side. Blend, blend, blend. And then if there's any sort of bold spots or bits I want to go back in, I just go back in and draw individual hairs, but normally I try not to overdo this too much, otherwise because I've got quite dark eyebrows anyway, I don't want it to overwhelm the rest of the look and it just looks kind of out of balance. But yeah, that's pretty much all I'll do for my eyebrows. So again, I'm just going to repeat the same on the other side. So this side I do have to draw in the little tail of my eyebrow here. I had an accident when I was younger, as you can see from this scar up here as well. This was actually a separate incident to that one. But my hair never grew back there, so I have a couple of stitches there, which means that my hair doesn't grow back. So this one I actually have to draw the tail in. Okay, so that's it, that's both my eyebrows done. I will go over these sections, like the front sections of my eyebrows, a few times with a spoolie again, just to soften it really nicely. I think it's just because I do have very dark eyebrows. I don't want them to look too harsh, so I'll just go over them a couple of times with a spoolie just to soften the look up. I didn't mention, but this pencil is the Maybelline Brow Ultra Slim pencil. This one is really good. The micro pencils are so good for drawing individual hairs. And again, if like me you want to draw back in your freckles, really natural, whoops. So I really like this, and especially if you're not going for a very defined brow. You can obviously go for a defined brow with this and draw in every single hair. Personally, I like the fact that you can blend it, but then also draw in individual hairs if that's what you're feeling. So I feel like it's a very good pencil for all kinds of looks really. Okay, next I'm going to move on to eyes. So I don't really like to put any eyeshadow on, just because I feel like I do have a naturally kind of like tan pigment to my eyelids anyway, so personally I quite like that. I'm just going to leave it as it is, but I am going to curl my eyelashes. I have seen people warm up their eyelash curlers ever so slightly with a hairdryer to try and get the curl to last longer, but I've been too terrified to try it. I know obviously you're going to wait until it cools down to put it on your eye, but I feel too scared to try it. So I just go in with this and squeeze it a couple of times. I've just been a little bit too much of a scaredy cat to try the heated method, but I mean this works just as well for me. Okay, so I'm just going to go in with my mascara. This one I've been using for absolute years. I think I've been using this since like my late teens, and I've never really changed it. I have tried different ones since then, especially the Maybelline Falsies, which is quite good too, but I always come back to this one. I really like it. I used a waterproof one just because I feel like it holds the curl on my lashes a lot longer. Okay, so I just realised this is my one that's drying out, so I have my new one here as well. I don't like to use a new one on its own because it's still too wet, so I kind of like using a dried out one with it. So I'll use the dried one for the first coat, and then I'll use the wet one for the second. So I will only do 2 coats because I just don't want to go too ham. I won't do anything on my lower lashes. I'll just do it on the top just so my eyes look very awake. Okay, so I'm just going to repeat the same on the other side. Okay, so that's my mascara done. I'm now going to go in with the Rimmel Scandaleyes eye definer, and I'm going to tightline my top waterline with this. I only sort of do it halfway. I try not to touch the inner corner and the outer corner, just because you start getting smudging throughout the day, so I only really tightline the middle, and it just makes it all look a lot more seamless. Okay, so we are almost done. We just need to do lips. I love a pinky nude whenever I'm doing a no makeup look, and I will just use a lip liner and lip balm, or maybe lip gloss if I'm feeling like it. So my go-to has been the MAC Soar lip liner, but if you wanted a drugstore alternative to this one, these two are really good. So the first one is Maybelline, this is Velvet Beige, and then also the L'Oreal in the shade Bois de Rose. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go for the Maybelline one today. So I already have some lip balm on. I'm just gonna go in and define my lips. I don't like to overline them, but so just to give them a bit of colour, and then when I get towards the inner corner I will flatten the lip liner just so it just spreads the colour a little bit more evenly. Yeah, it's just a really natural pinky nude. I really love it. So yeah, this is a really good dupe for Soar, and I actually kind of like this a little bit more. But yeah, so you could just leave it like this. Obviously a lot of the shine is still coming from my lip balm underneath, but if you wanted to, you could add in a little bit of lip gloss as well. I only ever apply this a little dot in the middle and a little on the top, to add a little bit of extra shine. Sometimes I do just use lip balm and lip liner. I think it looks really nice too, but if you wanted an extra bit of glossiness, then obviously go in with a gloss. And that is it. This is my go-to no makeup look. So I absolutely love it. Again, I think because I was showing you and I'm talking you through things, it does seem a lot longer, but when I'm sort of focused, just getting it done, like I mentioned earlier, I can probably do it in about 10 minutes, and it's just so easy, especially on the days where I need to go into the office and I can't just roll out of bed at 8:57 and log on for 9. So yeah, it's been really handy for that, and I hope you enjoyed this as much as I do. I love doing this. It just makes me feel like myself, but a slightly elevated version of myself. So yeah, I really like this. Okay, so while I've got you on camera, I thought I would take out this no heat blowout just to complete the look. So I need to take out these bobby pins that are on the top, and also this scrunchie. Almost there. And then you just sort of unwind it, let it all fall, and shake it out. But Shall we go for side parting today? I know it looks a bit crazy at once. You take it out, like as soon as you take it out, you're a bit like, it's a bit all over the place, but it does settle down a lot more. It just gives your hair like a really nice bounce. And especially without using any heat, it's really good. So, yes. I can't wait until my fringe grows out, just because there's so many little pieces that stick up like this right here. So this is today's look. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Please do let me know if you would like a skincare video. It's something I would absolutely love to film, and it's just, I feel like I've come so far from the skincare routine I used to have to an actual routine. So yeah, I would love to film that if you'd be interested. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please leave me a comment and a like, and please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!